Okay. We're back. Represent Podcast again.
Yeah.
Okay? Doing it all over again. We already recorded this episode once. Last week.
Yeah.
But I lost the SD card.
You did.
So now we're back.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
This is Ashley. Hello, Ashley. Ashley, you are headed off to college in 2 days.
Yes.
You've been a worship leader for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And basically, the first time we recorded this episode, we were talking a lot about worship and just different areas of worship and how just the different aspects, what it means to be a worship leader, what it means to have worship in our life, worship is our weapon, all these different things. So we're going to talk about all of that again.
Yeah.
So you're a worship leader. What is it for you? You're a worship leader for like youth. What does that look like for you? And like, why is that a cool role to be in? Why is that important for you?
I think it's important because like just being able to work with the youth is just like a cool thing. And like sorry. A lot of youth, like they're young. They gotta have to take those little them baby steps to build their relationship with God, and
They need help.
yeah,
Yeah.
they need help. So just being able to work with the youth is really cool, and being able to do worship and help lead them in worship is really cool too, because worship is a really big part of our relationship with Christ. So
Yeah. And you were talking last time, the first time we recorded this episode, you were talking about how you never felt called to like teach or even like speak.
Yeah.
Like that's just not your route. And, I feel like a lot of times they say seminary, which is like Bible college, people go and the schools are just like making pastors. They're like, yeah, all right, you're ready to go preach. You're ready to go preach.
Yeah.
But some people aren't called to that.
yeah.
But the idea is like some of us need to preach, but some of us also need to sing. And some of us need to do like discipleship stuff. And some of us, like everybody has to play a role. And for you, being a worship leader, it's just as important as anything else.
Yeah.
Because you're still a leader. You're leading just in a different way, right? In a way that's like coming together and people aren't like listening to you of what you have to say, but they're united with you
Yeah.
in proclaiming one name.
Yeah.
And that's worship. And we talked about like what worship is
Yeah.
and how worship's not just singing.
No, it's not.
Like what does the word worship mean to you, just in all?
Just glorifying God, and I'm like just admiring Him and just glorifying Him and just lifting Him up. That's what like worship is really about.
Yeah.
Like it's not just singing songs or like just a genre of music. It's like more than just that. Like you can help your neighbor, and like that could be part of worship. It's like serving others or holding your tongue and speaking positive things and just being in fellowship. Like there's a bunch of more ways like you can worship God.
Yeah.
And not just singing.
It's keeping the main thing.
Yeah.
It's like magnifying Christ. Like Christ be magnified, the song. In the Bible it says he must increase, I must decrease.
Yeah.
Right? Like he must become greater, I must become less. I like that. That's the idea of worship. And we talk about it a lot, about worship. It's the idea that worship is your mind's attention and your heart's affection for God. Like devoting everything in you to God.
Yeah.
Like you're not thinking about anything else. You're not feeling anything towards anybody or anything else. You're just like giving it all to God.
Yeah.
And that's the idea of Him being magnified, glorifying Him. It's like, I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried about what's going on. I'm all focused on God and what He has. Just keeping the main thing.
Yeah.
And that's an everyday thing.
Yeah, it is.
I think, what was it? It was like freshman year. Yeah, it was like going into freshman year of college. I was talking to these like different like Christian organizations,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like asking me like, well, so what do you want to do like after you graduate and stuff like that? And you know, people are usually like, I want to be an engineer, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to do this. And this was like right after I got like the call to like be in like the mission field, like the call to ministry.
Yeah.
And I was like, to be honest, I have no idea. Like, to be honest, we're literally wherever God wants.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have no dollar amount I'm trying to make. I don't have no location. I don't have anything. If I'm in Beijing, I'm in Beijing. If I'm in Livingston, Texas, then I'm in Livingston, Texas, right? Like, it don't matter. I don't know what I want to do, where I want to go. If I want to work in the church, all I know is, all I want to do is work for God.
Yeah.
That's all I know. And I think that's the mindset that we have to have, and that's the mindset of worship. Is like, I don't know, I don't care, but God, yeah, it's about it.
Yeah.
It's the only thing you got to worry about, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a hard concept to grasp because it's like a faith thing. It's like
Yeah.
God's all you need,
Yeah.
right? It is interesting. I think being a leader is just so much fun, especially for like youth.
Yeah.
Just like you said, like helping these people like get it,
Yeah.
helping corral them in. So you're going off to college, to Paris.
Yeah.
Super nice. Paris is super nice. Paris, Texas.
Yeah.
You're going to college, leaving a space, because this space was like almost like altered for you, right? Like you came up like 3 years ago, you're a worship leader.
Yeah.
Everything kind of started saying like, okay, how can we make Ashley and how can we make these guys, how can we make them better worship leaders, more efficient? Like, how can we work on them? And you've basically been in this area where like you are the leader, right?
Yeah.
So moving into a new step of life where it's like no one's really gonna know you, like what is that transition like for you? And with that, like, do you have any plans of trying to like do worship stuff, things like that? Like, what's the next step?
Well, I do plan on trying to do like worship stuff. They do have a BSM program at my college, and so I'm hoping that I could probably do worship there. But just being able to be from that leadership position back to like how you were like whenever you were just in
Yeah.
6th grade, you
Yeah.
know, I don't think much really changes, because like even though you have that label as a worship leader, you still should do the same stuff as you are like if you're not a worship leader or any type of leader. Like, it's the same steps. And even though I'm not gonna be I might not be a worship leader there, but I can still be a leader somewhere else. I can still be a leader on my soccer team or just in school. But the thing is like probably won't have that label. But I was actually thinking about this. I was talking to my parents about it. Like, being a worship leader, you have to follow, you have to look at yourself and you have to be like, okay, I need to do this because people are looking at me. But then I was like, well, that's kind of the same way as just as a regular, regular person.
Yeah.
Like a Christian, you should be like that anyways. Like, it shouldn't make any difference.
Yeah.
But I feel like as a leader, kind of open your eyes a little bit more. But like I said, it should be both.
Yeah. The Bible talks about like being above reproach, and it's talking about like for like teachers and things like that. Like, you're teaching the Bible, then you have to be living above reproach, because if you mess up, then it's like everybody's watching you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing about like being a worship leader. And I like how you said like you may not go to college and be a worship leader, but you're gonna find areas where you can be a leader.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Just be a person. Like you said, worship's not just singing. Worship is serving, and worship's fellowship, and worship is just simply glorifying God. So you can just find an area where you are simply glorifying God wherever you are.
Yeah.
And that's like what we see even in towns like this. Like, we have a church. We have a bunch of churches, but we have a church where people come together and glorify God. But then we have Grace Pregnancy.
Yeah.
Right? And they're probably not talking about Jesus every day in that building.
No.
But what they're doing is they're doing God's work by helping people raise their kids, supporting women who decided like pro-life, and wanted to keep their kids, but they're like teenagers, right? So they're trying to like figure it out. So that's ministry. That's leadership in a different area. Then you have like Center of Hope.
Yeah.
You have like food pantries where it's like people can't afford food, so you go over there and they're taking care of you, and they're giving you diapers, and they're giving you clothes, right? So it's like, I think Christians are really powerful once they understand that like leadership is not just one thing.
Yeah, no.
Leadership's like a lifestyle, right? And we see that in the Bible.
Yeah.
We see David's a good leader because he's the king of Israel.
Yeah.
But he was also a good leader back whenever he was like a teenager. And that's whenever he killed Goliath, right?
Yeah.
And then we see like the disciples, they're nobodies.
Yeah.
But they're good leaders based on how they acted and based on how they followed. So really, I like that about you're going to find a leadership spot, even if it's not worship leader, like on stage, you know?
Yeah.
I like that. So with that, with worship, glorifying God, lifting him up, using that or whatever, how do you, the classic question, how do you represent Christ in our modern and always changing world?
Just loving people, really. Like, just being loving, caring. Because like I said before, like, not everybody has that. And so, and like everybody says, you might be the only Jesus that they'll see.
Yeah.
You might be the only Bible that you'll see. Like, and so I feel like that's probably the best way to really represent God. Just loving others.
Yeah, you might be the only Jesus they see, and you might be the only Bible they read.
Yeah.
I like that. It's like Christians, we read the Bible, right, to see Christ.
Yeah.
And we read the Bible to see what I want for my life and what I want to do. But people, non-believers, we read the Bible, they read us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like our life, we pray, we read. These people who don't know Jesus, they read us. And whatever we're doing, that's what they're seeing.
Yeah.
They don't know anything about Christianity, but they know a Christian.
Yeah.
So whatever this Christian's doing, that's what Christianity is to them.
Yeah.
And that's why we're held above reproach.
Yeah.
Because if you're a Christian, but you're like toxic, talking down, being dirty, whatever, they're going to be like, oh, that's what Christianity is.
Yeah.
Because they're reading you.
Yeah.
But if you're a Christian who's loving first, who's worshiping, fellowshipping, all these things, they're going to look at it and be like, interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I like that.
Yeah.
And it's the classic Gandhi quote. Gandhi was an atheist. He's like, I like your Christ, but I don't like your Christians.
Yeah.
Your Christians are so unlike your Christ. It's like he knew Jesus, and he knew like the stories of Jesus and what he was about.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are these Christians doing though?
Yeah.
Right?
They acting crazy.
They wilding out here, bro. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that though.
And it's sad though, because a lot of people will see that some Christians who are very toxic and stuff, and they'll be like, nah, I don't want that. Like, they're like, nah, I don't, Christians are crazy. Like, I don't want to be a part of that. And that's sad.
It's a turnoff.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Okay. And that's what, like, I feel like every episode, we say it every time, but it goes back to, like, Christians are doing, like, a poor job. It's like, they're going, like, pride rallies and, like, screaming at people, and it's like, oh, my gosh, bro. Why?
Yeah.
The biggest, one of the biggest hurts for Christianity, one of the biggest things that holds Christianity back is Christians.
Yeah.
Because we're not doing a good job representing Christ.
Yeah.
We're not doing a good job loving our neighbor. Like, when people see us, they see us mad, they see us aggressive, they see us yelling at people and judging and telling them, hey, you can't do that, you need to fix this, you need to do all these things.
Yeah.
And that's hurting Christianity. What they need to see is they need to see someone like, hey, I'm not, like, I just want to have a relationship with you.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus loves me, and Jesus took me as a sinner and a wretch and a shameful guy, and he wants to do the same thing for you.
Yeah.
And let me, like, go buy you lunch. Let me hang out with you. Like, Jesus hung out with sinners.
Yeah.
And that's how we have to do it, right? And I think that's part of worship.
Yeah. A really cool story that my dad told me. Because you know how my dad was
Bobby.
like he was a part of this Christian band, right? And they were, I guess, and they were offered to go play at this club, like where everybody leaves drinking and stuff. And so my dad's like, I don't want to do that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't want to be saying stuff like to these people or whatever. And my mom's like one, like they probably need it just as much as we do.
More.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot what she said, but I know what my mom said. I wish I remembered, but what my mom said, my dad turned into a song.
Mm.
Yeah, and but yeah, so like being in those like places where you're like, dang, like these people are crazy. I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
Like that's probably what God's calling you to do, really.
Yeah.
Is being part of those broken people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would be like, Jesus, why are you hanging out with them? It's like, because.
Yeah.
Like, why would I hang out with like the holy people? Like, y'all got it all figured out, you know? Like,
Yeah.
like it's not the healthy that need a doctor, it's the sick.
Mhm.
Why in the world would a doctor, if he's a good doctor, just be hanging around a bunch of healthy people all the time? He would not be doing anything. He would not be useful.
Yeah.
But if a doctor went into a room full of patients who needed help, then he would be useful.
Mhm.
And it's like Christians, we have the light of Christ in us. We're called to be the light in the darkness.
Mhm.
But all Christians are doing is hanging out at church.
Yeah.
Church is great. Fellowship is important.
Yeah.
Be there once, twice a week. But if that's all you're doing, bruh, you're just filling yourself up. You're just hanging around a bunch of light bulbs and a bunch of flashlights, right?
Yeah.
You need to go out and show that light to the world.
Yeah.
Like it's like an illustration with a pitcher of water, and there's a cup, and you're the cup, and the pitcher fills you up. That's church, that's God, that's everything.
Mhm.
And you're supposed to go out and pour out to others.
Yeah.
And then you're empty. You come back to church, they fill you up, you go out.
Yeah.
Some people, bro, they're filled up and they're just overflowing.
Yeah.
And they're just staying there, right? Soaking
Yeah.
it all up, right? And it's like, or it's like a sponge.
Mhm.
You get all this water, you absorb it. If you hold that water in for too long, you're going to get moldy and nasty, bro. You got to go out and squeeze out, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what God wants for us, but you have to be okay with not staying in the church.
Mhm.
And, yeah. What for you, how do you think we reach people? Like, how do you think, what are some practical ways for a college gal, for young adults, for human beings, okay?
Yeah.
How do we reach people for Jesus?
Well, I know for me, I feel like my soccer team probably, like, that's, like, probably where I'm first going to start off because, like, I'm going to be hanging around them all the time.
Yeah.
And so just being able to just, like, plant a seed in that person and, like, you don't have to, like, be like, hey, like, come to church, like, you know, and, you know, but just, like, being able to plant that seed, like, it could be anybody, it could be your friend, your neighbor, just someone that you hang out with all the time. I feel like that's, like, a way to reach people or just somebody you work with, like, anybody who's really, that's where you can start off. It's, like, someone who's close to you, and maybe they don't know Christ as much as you do, and so being able to, like, just, like, plant that seed and see, just praying for them, praying for those people who are broken and don't know God, like, that's, like, probably a good way to start off, really.
Start where you are.
Yeah.
That's it, bro. I like that. People are like, they're like, well, yeah, I gotta go around the world and be a missionary. It's like, bro, you go to a school with 1,000 kids,
Yeah.
most of which don't know Jesus.
Yeah.
You got a kid sitting next to you in class who does not know Jesus. That's your mission field,
Yeah.
right? And people are like, so like, where you are is where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Where you are with this non-believer friend of yours next to you,
Yeah.
God meant to do that
Yeah.
so that you can talk to him.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're like, I just want to go do stuff. Like, I want to be in ministry. I want to go over here and talk to people. It's like, bro, you're right there, bro. And it's like, there was this like this church series that they were doing, and the question, the title of the series was, who's the minister here? And the pastor was like, I'm a minister. Y'all here to hear me because I'm a minister. But you're a minister. And he just pointed to a random guy. You're a minister, pointed to a lady. Y'all are all ministers to these like group of youth right here.
Yeah.
He's like, we're all the ministers here. Y'all just here to listen to me.
Yeah.
He's like, whenever you go home, whenever you go to school, you're the minister.
Yeah.
Whenever you go outside, you're the minister. Whenever you're on a train or you're on the bus, you're a minister.
Yeah.
So act like it.
Yeah.
It's like where you are, all the things you have is all you need.
Mm-hmm.
You were made for this. You were put in the area to glorify God,
Yeah.
to magnify him everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go find out where you need to be. You are where you need to be.
Yeah.
People don't like to hear that, bro.
Yeah.
Because it's not sexy, bro. They want to be like, yeah, I'm the leader of this ministry, or I'm the worship leader over here. It's like, okay. And then this guy's like, oh, yeah, I just work like a regular 9 to 5. But he's leading people to Christ. You know, it's like, that's all it is, dude.
Yeah.
The disciples in the Bible were just regular Joe Schmoes.
Mm-hmm.
They were hillbilly people, bro. They were just chilling.
Yeah.
What was that, Brett, who said that? He's like, they were like hillbillies, man.
Yeah, that was him.
I was like, interesting, dude. They were just random guys, dude.
Yeah.
And they were with Jesus, and they were just doing what they did and used that to glorify Christ. Mm-hmm. Hi. I think it's so funny to like try to talk to someone as they're like taking a sip or like a big bite of food, like, so what do you think about that? And they're like, yeah, that's good. So you're going off to college.
Mm-hmm.
What are you most excited about for college? Just for your life?
Probably just like probably like playing for my soccer team, really. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because you're like a baller soccer player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you already know where it is.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that, but I'm also like, I'm pretty excited. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that God has something for me, so I'm pretty excited for that.
The classic.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I know God does.
Yeah.
DJ Khaled, God did.
God did.
You're playing soccer. That's fun. Bro, I just had literally something to go off of that. I think going into like new seasons of life is always exciting.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're ready, but you're also nervous, like you said.
Yeah.
And it's like because you know a little bit about what's about to happen, but you also don't know anything that's about to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like just you're along for the ride.
Yeah.
And I think that's always a fun place to be. And I think that's like a good place as Christians to be, is like living a life of like consistency and like monotony. It's just like doing the same thing every day. You know what's going on. Like changing it up, like switching it, flipping the script, and you're like, what's going on? It's like it almost like refreshes your mind.
Yeah.
Reminding you like I have no control.
Yeah.
God's in control.
Yeah.
And I like that. So you're a young lady.
Mm-hmm.
What are you, 18 years old?
Yeah.
You're a young lady. And your Instagram bio. Okay. Yeah. You knew we were coming to this.
Yeah.
Your Instagram bio is 1 Timothy 4:12.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about this verse.
So the verse says, do not let anyone look down on you because you're young, but set an example as believers of speech, faith, love, conduct, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like the list, you know. I don't remember the order.
The list.
Yeah, I don't remember the order, but it was like speech, love, conduct, faith. For me, I feel like it's a really good verse for like youth people, like trying to be leaders. And because you're going to have these older people who'll be like, dude, like, you're not wise. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah. Like, these kids, bro.
Like, they don't know what they're doing. They're young, you know. But like you said before, like, people that do look down on you, like, instead of, like, being like, well, what, you know, just doing that list, like, loving people.
Yeah.
Like, having purity and faith, being strong in your faith. I feel like that's that verse is, like I said, it's really good for people who are young but also trying to be leaders too.
So. Yeah, and people kind of use it as like like a weird motivation thing. It's like, yeah, don't let anybody look down on you because you young.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm 16. Ain't nobody gonna look down on me because God got me. It's like, okay, play. Okay, pipe down. First of all,
Pause.
it's like the I can do all things through Christ. It's like, what are we talking about, bro?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not what Paul meant whenever he was chained in prison. Like, I can do all, right, and you're like, yeah, I can do all things, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's the mindset people have, especially kids. Sometimes they're like, oh yeah, don't let them look down on you. Don't let them look down on you. And like you were saying, it's like, okay, if you don't want them to look down on you, you have to read the second part of that verse.
Yeah.
And say, set an example of love, peace, conduct, all these different things, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're calling you immature. Show them some maturity.
Yeah.
Right? If you're acting immature and you're acting like a goon, don't walk around being like, yeah, don't let them look down on you. It's like, you're acting like a clown. You know what I mean? Like, you are putting it on yourself.
Yeah, it's like whenever, like, stop treating me like a kid. Like, telling your parents, like, stop treating me like a kid.
It's like, boy, stop acting like a kid.
Exactly.
Like, stop, like, bruh, you want people to stop treating you away? Act a certain way.
Yeah.
Don't let people look down on you because you're young. Okay. Act older.
Yeah.
Act more mature, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can talk about it all day, but people like to pick out verses, right? And make it fit what they have.
Yeah.
But it's
kind
like,
of twist it.
Yeah, it's like, come on. The bio verse, man, had to get that in there.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that one. And it's one of those verses that people kind of see all day, every day, and they're like, yeah, 1 Timothy 4:12, we get it.
Yeah.
But kind of breaking it down and really seeing it for what it is and like really hitting that second part of like set an example.
Yeah.
I like that. We used to do like a little conference here, like the 412 stuff, where we'd go to different churches and talk about it.
Yeah.
I like that. And it's not even for like youth. Like people think that's like, oh, that's a good youth verse.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, you can also be like 25.
Yeah.
And 60-year-olds look down on you.
Yeah.
You could be 40 and 70-year-olds look down. Like we're always, someone's younger than somebody.
Yeah.
And yeah, like people are always, there's gonna be people looking down on you. And if you don't want that to happen, set them an example.
Yeah.
People always looking down on me because I wear camo pants and J's.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already like naturally, I lose brownie points if I walk in a room just because I'm wearing pearls right now. You know what I mean? Like I walk in and everybody's like, oh, this guy. It's like already bad taste in their mouth, bro. And I love it because then even though you look a certain way, once you show them how you act and your knowledge and your love, then they're like, interesting.
Yeah.
Then these other people who don't know Jesus, who dress the same way,
Yeah.
they're going to look at him and they're going to be like, it's not bad to be dressed that way.
Yeah.
Right? Because I met a young man who dressed like that, and he was a good guy.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why, like, I like dressing like this. And someone was like, dressing like that at church is kind of weird. Like, I don't know if you should do that. Because, it's like, I'm like, well, if you have, like, you look at me and you think a certain way because I dress, that's already your problem. Like, that's your problem. And whenever you do this, and I look the part of the world, but I'm acting as Christ, and I'm loving as Christ, then when someone else walks in and they look like me, hopefully they're not going to get judged.
Yeah.
Hopefully now they're going to have an open mind to saying, oh, it doesn't matter what he looks like. Let's hear what he has to say, right?
Yeah.
It's giving people a chance. And the Bible says, my bio verse,
Yeah.
Romans 12:2, is that do not conform to the ways of the world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to conform to the world. I don't want to look like them and act like what they're doing and do what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm in the world, and I want to relate to the world. So I like the style,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to act like them.
Yeah.
And I want to help give them a chance so other people can really like respect them for who they are, because I look like a clown too. You know what I mean? It's like that's kind of the way that we're going.
Yeah. And then God like tells us like come as you are, whether you're a homeless dude from the street or you're like probably the richest person in Livingston or whatever, wherever you are, like just come as you are.
Come as you are.
It does not matter like what you look like or how your home style of life or like it does not matter.
Yeah.
Just come to God as you are.
Yeah.
God's not judging. Other people might, but God's not.
Facts. And that's true. Like people want like They're like, hey, bro, you need to find Jesus and like get right, and then I'll bring you to church.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
Yo.
Whoa.
It's like, no, bro, come to church and let God do it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, someone who's like struggling with like homosexuality, bro, they're talking to you and they're like, so like, do I have to like become straight to follow Christ? No.
Yeah.
But if you're going to follow Christ, you beware.
Beware.
He may require something
Yeah.
from you, right? And that's the beauty of it. It's like, you don't got to do all the work, bro. You just got to introduce them to Jesus.
Yeah, they're planting that seed.
And let Jesus do the work, you know what I mean? And here's the thing about like being a Christian is Jesus came and he lived a perfect life for you, right? And for me. He came down and he died on the cross for you. So now you're a Christian, you're not a Christian, right? And you're living your life, you're doing your own thing, you're fine.
Yeah.
But once you become a Christian, Jesus died on the cross for you, you have to carry your cross for him.
Yeah.
Jesus died for you, you have to die to yourself for him. That's what being a Christian is.
Yeah.
And you're moving, you're doing your thing, and non-Christians, that they're living a life and they're wilding out, right? And then you show them Jesus, and it's like, hey, this is okay, but let me show you Jesus. And once they find Jesus, it's like, now I got bad news. It's like, Jesus takes you as you are, but now that you know Jesus, now it's time to change it up, right?
Yeah.
It's not the other order. We want to change people and then show them Jesus. It's like, no, here's Jesus.
Yeah.
But beware. Once you get in the room with Jesus and you start doing life with him, things are going to start changing.
Yeah.
Let God do it.
Yeah.
Come as you are, but don't leave the same.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, no, I remember Miss Pam, she would always tell us, like, don't make that person a project. Because, like, that would kind of feel, like, terrible. No, like, because someone's like, you gotta fix this, like, someone's telling you all this stuff, and then that person's like, oh, dang, like,
I suck.
Yeah.
I suck.
Yeah. But yeah, I will always, like, Miss Pam, she's a very wise woman. Yeah, I remember her telling us that one time in small group, is not make that person a project.
Yeah. Yeah. They're people, not projects.
Yeah.
Come as you are. Worshiping God everywhere we are. Worship is magnifying him.
Yeah.
Keeping the main thing the main thing.
Yeah.
1 Timothy 4:12. Romans 12:2. We covered a lot.
Yeah.
This episode is better than our first episode. Just because the first episode doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So trash, bro. Such a hectic week, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on, though.
Thank you for having me.
We'll have to get you on again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Christians read the Bible, non-believers read you.
Yeah.
You want to experience Christ, so you read the Bible and you pray. People who don't know Christ, they're going to see him in you.
Yeah.
Give him a good look, okay? Don't act like a clown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was good. Worship is our weapon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. For sure. For sure. Cool. You got any last tips or pointers? Like, something just to mic drop us out of here? What you got?
I don't know.
Just got to put you on the spot, dude.
Yeah, no, I don't like it.
I don't enjoy it. I don't like it here. You're okay, you're going to college.
Yeah.
You're looking for leadership stuff.
Yeah.
If you could say one thing, okay, to your, even like starting high school self, what would you say?
Trust God and what he has for you. Because I know, like, the past few months I was so scared. I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be all by myself. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know God wants me, like, just to trust him, trust what he has for me.
Yeah.
So just trust what God has for you and just follow him, really, and worship him, give him glory. So.
And obviously it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
I love preaching because I say stuff and they're like, yeah, dude, obviously it's easier said than done. I'm like, I know, I promise I know. It's like, it's just have peace.
Yeah.
Right, have peace. Yeah, it's cool. Thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Worship is important. Worship is an everyday battle. And it's like our gift to God.
Yeah.
It's like God has done so much for us. The least we can do is actually like give our life to Him.
Yeah.
And show it every day. Represent Podcast every single Tuesday. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, dude.
I don't know why my eyes were shut for so long. I'm like, Represent Podcast every Tuesday. Follow us on all socials. We love you. Peace.